Many hints. Wait, is the mother still alive? Wait. Bro, brother man. Mama knows who he is, I bet. Oh,
どうにか断っておく。
ありがとうございます。
our birth, our circumstances, our trauma do not define who we are. We are human beings. Be humans. To become humans, we have to embrace and acknowledge and accept that our trauma, our upbringing do not define who we are. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a UPenn educated psychotherapist and a professional yapper. Welcome to my detailed psychological analysis of the Apothecary Diaries episode 18. Athathination 0, Vinny, Foxholes Gaming, Crisco94, Weixiang, Project Norway, Samsonian, and Fidelis are the sponsored tier highlights of today's video. I appreciate your support. And shout out to all the sponsors and seekers who upgraded to the new premium Yapper tier for the exclusive one extra episode a week. Sit back and I hope you enjoy.
議場の価値を下げるにはどうする？
こうはらませれば価値などないに等し
Yep,
くなります。
exactly what I said. Jinshi was not ready for this conversation.
あれではないでしょうか。それでは私は失礼します。
Oh!
私が中に入ってはダメでしょう。では。
I think there's a few reasons why Jinshi grabbed Mao Mao's wrist, kind of with a little bit of force. Obviously, it's nothing against Mao Mao. It's a few things. I think level 1, I think Jinshi is still shocked. I think he's truly shocked and still processing the gravity of what Mao Mao was explaining. That devalue is about making someone pregnant. And in this case, based on my prediction, rape. So I think just to grab the magnitude of that news and that information, Jinshi is still shocked. That's why I think he was not able to control his force when he grabbed her. And second thing, she was leaving very abruptly, which means he needs to go in by himself. And I don't know if he was emotionally ready for that. And maybe because of pregnancy, maybe he made the connections as I did, that, oh my gosh, does this mean Mao Mao is the daughter of that mysterious courtesan that the master strategy is talking about? But I think, overall, he was unable to control his strength when he was grabbing her because he wasn't ready for her departure yet because he was still in shock. That Mao Mao's monologue is interesting. She said that it's fine. I'm sure I didn't let it show it on my face. Two possible meanings. Level 1, that is such a hard to digest information. Again, with that gravity. When she was telling Master Jinshi that she wanted to control her facial expressions, or in other words, emotional regulation. Definition right here. Emotional regulation is our ability to regulate our emotions when we're sad, when we're depressed, when we're feeling down, or even when we're excited. Either or. Because when we're too dysregulated emotionally, we lose our equilibrium. Our equilibrium is our balance. So in other words, we lose our balance by losing our equilibrium. So that's the importance of regulating our emotions. So that's possible one for Mama. But I think the deeper meaning, possibly, of course I could be wrong, is that Mao Mao maybe even knows her own upbringing. Mao Mao knows about her mother being raped, that mysterious courtesan, per my prediction and suspicion. And she knows. And maybe because she knows, her even sharing the information about the best way to devalue a courtesan is through pregnancy, aka rape. It triggered and activated her own trauma, her own traumatic backgrounds. So those are the two possibilities. Third, so she said that enjoy your good night, sir. I think she was saying that because Mama still grossly misunderstood why Jinshi was going to that brothel. He's not going there to seek pleasure or sexual transaction. He's going there to investigate the story behind that mysterious courtesan and why Master Strategist kept bothering Jinshi and with this hint dropping, very unpleasing conversation and storytelling. But of course, Mao Mao missed that point because again, in Mao Mao's minds, due to the immense and the massive power gap differential, she could never conceptualize or even entertain the possibility that Master Jinshi, this nobleman, can like Mao Mao. And of course, back in the time, it was very common for men, especially men of noble statuses, to have multiple female interests, multiple women. So that was very, very common per social norms. That was a very dark look of Mao Mao. Bro, this show is getting fucking nuts. So going back to my, oh my gosh, there's so much to analyze. Based on my two possibilities, Mao Mao's monologue that it's fine, I didn't let it show on my face. Boom, I called it. It is the second reason why she knows her own upbringing. She had a flashback, involuntary response, and I think she was triggered and activated. Talking about that devaluing someone, pregnancy, forced rape. And right away, we saw the scene, quick scene, because I know these scenes have tremendous importance. Mao Mao had another flashback and traumatic, like a nightmare, about looks like her mother, which is a mysterious courtesan, with a knife or a dagger trying to stab her. I know that baby was Mao Mao because one, why will Mao Mao dream about any other babies? That's weird. Two, they had the same eyes. That abyss, those crystal blue, amazing, mesmerizing eyes that I commented in, even in episode 1. So they have the same eyes. It's a baby, and she wouldn't dream about any other babies unless the baby's her own. Why would the mother try to stab her with a dagger? Because she was a result of rape and pregnancy. Think about for that mysterious courtesan. Again, I'm doubling down my prediction. I'm pretty sure that is her mom. Think about the trauma of sexual trauma for Mao Mao's mom. She was esteemed, respected, prestigious princess of that Virgil house. One of the highest class elite brothel, entertainment house. She didn't have to sell her body. She didn't have to engage in any, like sexual acts because she only had to sell her art, entertainment, by having tea with patrons with like high salary for annual salary worth for like military officers. She went from literally the pinnacle, the peak of a courtesan status to nothing because she was pregnant out of rape. Again, probably by that scumbag of a master strategist, that just villain, evil looking dude. Because I could tell something was off about him, and he just had this exuding this bad guy energy the moment I saw him, as you guys saw with my prediction this whole time. So because of that, I'm sure the mom wanted to erase and cancel out the evidence and the trauma of her rape. But of course, by killing her own baby, she would only worsen her own trauma. It's like a trauma on steroids on 10 times. And looks like she didn't do that, and Mao Mao survived. Maybe somehow during that time, Mao Mao's dad, Luomen, maybe came into the picture around the same time when he was kicked out from the royal palace because of the birth incident, right? But looks like Mao Mao just had the involuntary flashback, which is a trauma response. Man, this show is nuts. Mao Mao is hyperventilating. That means her chest is up and down. You can see her shoulders rising up and down. She's breathing super heavily, right? Which means she's like ventilating, like breathing in and out. Hyper means a lot, excessively. That's again, after a nightmare, after trauma, flashback, we usually hyperventilate, which means, oh my gosh, her anxiety is off the roof. Her cortisol, which is a stress hormone, is super, super high right now because of that traumatic nightmare. A dream of the past. Guys, dude, they need to have me on the writer's board, dude. Like, so far, I'm pretty sure this is my proudest and the wildest prediction moment. Of course, I feel sad because this is extremely bleak and traumatic prediction. But sounds like I'm on the ball. She said that a dream of the past when I was a baby. I bet it's because I talked about it. And what is this episode 18 called? Episode 18 is literally called Laken, the name of that villain guy who I suspected raped Mama's mother.
たせいかな。
Nuts.
おはよ
おはよう、親父。
As soon as Mama woke up from that traumatic flashback, hyperventilating like I talked about, so much anxiety, stress, cortisol spike, what does she see? Mama's dad. Ohio. Mama's dad is the emotional harbor, emotional safety, the comfort for Mama. And we see that Mama's affect, which is definition. Her affect is a clinical term for her facial expressions and emotion. Her affect immediately soothes. In other words, her facial expressions calmed down, became more soothing. Her hyperventilating her body, like the breathing, heavy breathing motions, slowed down. And her voice also changed. Ohio, good morning, dad. Her dad does not always speak. He's very calm, very soothing. But when he does speak, he speaks volume with his comforting presence, especially for that difficult moment for Mama when she woke up and reconciled with her dream, because she just talked about it with Master Jean the night before, it seems like. It's nuts, yo.
別に。
特に用がないんだったら六章館に行ってくれないかい？
いいけど。
Right there. With her dad's request, Mama seems kind of down and she looked down. We saw her facial expression switch again. She looked down. She's like, sure. Why? Again, she's still processing that flashback. Remember, our trauma gets activated, our PTSD gets activated based on memory of the past, stimuli, places, people, just like our memories, right? Because remember, memory formation, as I talked about, also gets activated, like the good memories, but also the bad memories get activated by all these things: sights, places, people. In this case, sights and people and memories is all around this Virgil house and everything that represents her mother, but also her traumatic upbringing.
ようママを。
Yo,
お勤めはいい
mama.
のか？
休みもらえたから。
PTO, paid time off. I don't know if she gets paid during her vacation, but
薬屋に来てんだな。
ついでにね。それで来たわけじゃないけど。
Mama. Aww.
おかえり。
Aww.
私は寒いわ。おば。
She's suffocating Mama with her sizable fruits.
Gotta know exactly who you are. Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused. No-
Sorry, one more prediction. Guys, I'm just gonna go all out with my predictions. My prediction is that her mom, the previous princess who gave birth to Mama as a result of forced pregnancy by Master Lakan, probably gave up on killing her last moment, but ended up injuring Mama's pinky maybe. And maybe she just kind of ran away or left the baby, aka Mama, to the care of Granny, who is like the manager of this Virgil house. And through that, all the sisters, all the courtesans, and these new 3 princesses probably grew up also help raising Mama, because the mother either left it there or either ran away or either made a purposeful or intentional request for Granny to take care of her. But regardless, that's probably the reason why Mama grew up in this specific elite brothel house.
大体お前がいつまでも居座るからこっちが話を取り持ってやってんだろ。
ません。おばばはいつも勝手なの。
勝手とはなんだい勝手とは。はあ？まあまあ来てたのかい？
さっきからいましたよ。
離れに行くのかしら。
Is she going to the annex? What is the annex? Is that where? Yeah, because I remember in an earlier episode, I forgot the episode name, but the homecoming episode when she first came out, I remember the sisters asked her, "Have you visited the annex?" And Mama was like, "Not yet." And then now this is the second time the annex was mentioned, and they all look very concerned. The granny looks kind of concerned. The Parian, the princess, also looks concerned. And they're saying that, oh, is Mama visiting the annex? Is annex where the ashes are, maybe for her dead mother? Is her mother dead? Maybe the mother that mysterious Curtis committed instead of killing Mama. This is so dark, guys. This show from the first half of the episode to after like episode 16 or 15 and beyond, complete 180-degree turn. Became so much more, just more trauma ridden, darker, heavy. I guess it is a slice of life because life does comprise of very, very heavy aspects of trauma. And Mama obviously represents very high adverse childhood experiences, high ACEs, definition right here, high trauma, a lot of complex trauma, PTSD, and so on. And again, this goes back to my psychological profiling that I established even in episode 1 for Mama. She's not autistic necessarily, but rather a lot of her responses, a lot of her behaviors, a lot of her characteristics are probably a representation of her trauma, her traumatic backgrounds. Because individuals with trauma can display very similar traits as people with autism. That's plain and simple. Of course, it could be both. It's not mutually exclusive. But I lean more and more towards her trauma background than the other side. But yeah, annex, is that probably where the ashes or some sort of belongings are left behind by the deceased mother maybe, or just the mother maybe who ran away? A lot of guesses, I know. A lot of speculations and predictions going around. But so much hints. There's so many hints. Wait, is the mother still alive? Wait. Bro, brother, man. Hold on. I remember there was a very quick scene, super brief scene, a few episodes back, where Granny asked Mama to look after someone, and I thought someone died. Because we saw this very, very skinny skeleton-like lady laying in bed, and Mama was kind of looking after her and her kind of shaking her head, and Granny was kind of sighing. I thought someone died, but it was so random that Curtis would just die out of nowhere in that episode. I think it was just a few episodes back. That's the annex. This is the same room. So Mama's mom didn't die. She didn't run away. Maybe she fell into coma. Maybe she tried to ingest poisons in an attempt of killing herself, but didn't succeed. But it looks like Annex is where her mysterious mother is resting and recovering. And Mama was tasked by her dad, Luoman, to take care of the mother. And maybe that's why Mama didn't want to come, because maybe she knew what was awaiting, which is looking after the mother who tried to murder her, right? The amount of trauma, the complexity, the attachment style just here is unbelievable, guys. It's unbelievable. She used to hatefully chase me out. Boom. That's her mother. Because again, Mao Mao, every time the mysterious courtesan, this mom, sees Mao Mao, what does she get reminded of? Her PTSD gets traumatized, reactivated. And the mom is forcibly reminded of her rape, the forced pregnancy, the biggest trauma, some of the deepest possible trauma for a woman, sexual trauma. Because Mao Mao is the birth, the result of her forced pregnancy by that scumbag, shady, horrible human being, Master Lakan, the strategist, right? So it makes sense why she used to hatefully chase her out, because that's the only way for her to forget about her past. But of course, even if she chases Mao Mao out, even if she tried to kill Mao Mao with that dagger, nothing would change the past. Her past is still her past. Her trauma is still her trauma. At the same time, guys, please hear me loud and clear. Our trauma, our struggle, our suffering, our circumstances, our labels, our diagnosis, whatever it is, fill in the blank, never defines who we are. Who we are is not what we do. Who we are is not our trauma, is not our circumstances, is not our upbringing. We never get to choose the family we are born into. We never get to choose the socioeconomic statuses we're born into. We never get to choose what type of mother, what type of situations, what type of area, what type of country we are born into. We don't get to choose that. That's given by birth. However, we do get to choose empowerment. We do get to choose to reclaim our power by doing the work, by seeking help, seeking healing, by reprogramming, rewiring, reconditioning ourselves to turn trauma, transform trauma into power, into healing, into lessons, right? That's what we can do. Because all we can do is all we can do.
もうそんな元気もないか。それともとうに言葉も忘れたか。
Looks like her mom is in horrible shape.
病
Oh,
が進んで
jeez.
記憶もズタズタに引き裂かれてる。
Oh, you see this. I can immediately, even with the facial injuries, whatever illnesses the mom is struggling with, I can still see the similarities between Mama's face and this mysterious courtesan, aka her mom. You can tell that the mom was of exceptional beauty, even despite the illnesses and all the trauma that she's endured and has happened.
親父の薬はよく効くけど、こうなっては気休めにもならない。それでも与えるしか治療法がわからない。
Dang. Guys, I just need a moment and process the amount of information and hints, the setup, everything that's happened. I'm literally 5 minutes and 36 seconds in. I already yapped for 26 minutes because the amount of setup, revealing backgrounds, and predictions are freaking bananas. Man, okay, I'm ready.
また来てますよ。
まったく鼻が利くね。めいめいお呼びな。
Who's the customer?
今でこそ格式ある技能だが、十数年前、泥のかかった看板をかけていた時期がある。
One more prediction. I think that customer is back. That customer has a good nose. Who has a good nose? AKA who's noisy, nosy? Pun intended, Master Lakan. The scumbag shitbag of a villain. It's either him coming back because he probably knew that Mama made a return, or it's Master Jinshi in disguise. But Master Jinshi hasn't come back to Virgil House, right? I don't think he's been here before. Besides that, yeah, I don't think he's been here, so it's probably Master Laka.
この妓女はその数年間に客を取り、不幸にも梅毒を移された。
Syphilis, damn.
っていたらしい。病状を伝えていれば対処もできただろうが。信じるはずがなかった。客を取らねば食うていけない。それが義郎の掟だ。
Oh, man. Oh.
以来女は客の目の
Oh,
手の
gosh.
離れに押し込められている。使い物にならなくなった妓女がドブに投げ出されなかっただけ寛容だ。
Wow. It's quite generous that I think Granny allowed her because she probably knew about the rape to forced pregnancy, what happened to her. Again, Granny cares about business, of course. She's the manager of this elite brothel. She has a job to do. At the same time, she does have empathy. She does have sympathy. Because usually, a person like Granny, who became the manager, she was probably a courtesan herself before. Probably one of the princesses, one of the elites. But going back to what happens, again, the story and the background of Mao Mao's mom has become very, very clear to me. Let me quickly summarize what happens, right? Again, she was one of the elite princesses. She was raped very traumatically by Master Lakan, the shitbag scumbag of the villain. She had a forced pregnancy, which means she was devalued and lost her value and prestige as a princess. She gave birth to Mao Mao. She tried to kill her in an futile attempt to erase her trauma, but didn't work because she probably gains her consciousness, or at the last moment chose not to do that. Because again, can you imagine the trauma of trying to kill your own child, even if the child was born out of a sexual trauma? It's nearly impossible and very, very difficult. And then after she gave birth, of course, her pregnancy is gone, so she was skinny again. But then again, she was no longer the princess because she lost her value, which means what? Any patrons, any customers can now have sex with her because she's no longer the princess. Only the elites get to choose entertainment and providing art instead of sexual transactions. Everyone else, all the lower classes, courtesans, they have to do what they do, which is sex, whatever the patrons want. So she was demoted from the elite, the pinnacle of that, to the bottom. And so she kept performing sexual acts. She became one of the regular courtesans, but she still had the beauty and the talents and the skill sets of the former princesses. So imagine her reputation. Imagine the amount of patrons and customers who wanted to have sex with her. Probably unimaginable amounts. And back then, I'm sure there was no condoms or sexual protections or preventions for HIVs or STDs, right? Sexual transmittable diseases. So she caught syphilis as a result. And he kept progressing and progressing. And sounds like Mao Mao's dad, sounds like adoptive father because he was a eunuch. Luomen came in too late. But even when he came on time, people didn't trust him enough because he was an unknown, mysterious eunuch came out of nowhere. Makes sense. I can't blame them. And it was too late. He missed a critical window of curing syphilis. But it sounds like it could have been contained or even cured, but it was too late. And syphilis progressed beyond saving point, the point of no return. And now she's been resting in this annex, kind of like living out her rest before she's probably going to pass away and die eventually. Crazy, guys, man. This is a dark show. It's...
どうした？
The weirdo with the monocle called it. Master Lakan. God, I've worked with a lot of clients with sexual trauma clinically, and I have unbelievable amount of empathy and sympathy and just compassion for them. It's just, there's a lot of different traumas out there. There's so many different horrible traumas and difficult traumas. But like I said, trauma does not define who we are. At the same time, my deepest condolences, compassion, empathy for those who are struggling with sexual trauma, especially helpless women, you know. But Lakan, you are such a effing shitbag, bro. Like, there is a special place in hell for you.
そうか、わかった。ここにいればあの客が来ることはない。六召喚の顧客で古い馴染みのあの男。
She's doing Go. Oh, she's playing the game of Go in Korean Paduk. Oh, what she was best at. She was even be able to best and beat Master. I'm not gonna call him Master, yo. Shitbag Lakan with that. See? Mama says stupid woman. She's not saying that in a negative, judgmental way. I think she's saying that baga because she feels for her, because she knows that's her mom. I'm pretty sure Mama knows that's her mom. And she's still playing Go because that was her art. That's what she was very, very known for. This is a heavy episode, guys. Really, really heavy episode.
お疲れ。あのお客さん。
Oh.
姉さん今日は具合良さそうね。
Big sis, she, oh.
マオマオにまたあの話が来たわ。銀の重みでそんなもん蹴り飛ばすからね。極楽行きの船賃を溜め込んでるから仕方ないわよ。
Her boat fare to heaven?
私もそろそろいい年だし、ちゃんと考えないとね。まだ味噌じ前だけど、妓女としては引退の年齢だもんな。
Wow.
独立すれば。
I guess for courtesans, even for her as one of the three princesses, I guess 30 means retirement age. Obviously, back in the days, in a historical time, whether it's Chinese dynasty, Korean dynasty, Japanese dynasty, or even in the West, like European, whatever previous empires, dynasty era, obviously women, girls were married by 12, 13, and they're already pregnant by 14, 15, like the empresses, right? Based on the show's context. So by that, not logic, by that stage and setup, yeah, by 30 is, you know, I guess it is retirement age. Since many people didn't really get to live past, you know, 50, 60, And if you live it to 70, that's insane because the diseases, lack of infrastructure, bunch of things. So
もう少しだけこの仕事続けるわ。もしそれが恋というものだとしたら。
Oh, I think again, Mei Mei also had a memory recall about her smiling beautifully. And remember, you can fake a smile, but when you have a beautiful smile, which means you're happy, you're in joy. I think she was playing Go with another customer who looked younger, kind of blue hair. That's probably her lover. And she wants to keep working a little bit longer by rejecting, sounds like Master Lockdown's perversive offer to buy her out, maybe, or by someone else, whoever. I think she want to keep working a little bit longer so she can spend more quality time with the guy she actually loves. But it sounds like he does not have the financial means to buy her out, because that is unbelievable amount. Or maybe he can never, the mysterious lover can never afford to buy her out. At the same time, as long as Mei Mei continues to work at the Virgil house, she can continue to spend time playing Go, quality time with him, the guy she loves. And as some audience pointed out, Mei Mei is actually the name of a flower, Mei Mei. Not sister as I suspected based on the pronunciation of the Chinese characters, but Mei Mei, or beauty, because it can mean beauty, sister, or name of a flower. So it sounds like it's like a plum, the flower, a plum flower.
そんな感情はきっと私を産んだ女の体内に置いて。
That's an emotion I'm sure I left behind in the womb of the woman who birthed me. She's contemplation, she's in deep thoughts. She sounds very somber because she's still processing. Every time she hangs out and visits and reunites with her mother, again, who tried to kill her and a bunch of other things, it's very traumatic. It's very, very tough emotionally for Mao. And I think Mao saying that that's the emotion I'm sure I left behind. Maybe it's the emotion of love that she thinks she left behind. Because I think Mao can gauge that Mei Mei wants to stay at the Virgil house a little bit longer out of love, based on my prediction and analysis.
できてしまった。
One more comment. I know I'm yapping a lot extra, but as you guys saw, the context jam-packed in this episode is freaking bananas. Based on her comments, I'm sure the emotion I left behind, I can also talk about attachment style. Definition right here. Attachment style is out of one of the very prominent relational theory called attachment theory. Definition right here. Attachment theory has become more mainstream based on a lot of TikTok, a lot of educational content, right? A lot of things like that. There are 4 attachment styles. I'll be very brief. 1, secure attachment. Secure attachment is when you have a very great relationship with your caregiver. When you're a child, when you're a baby, your parents or your caregivers, they were there for you. Not that they were perfect, but when you needed them, they showed up. They provided shelter, caring, love. They tried their best. So you have a secure attachment. You feel very secure even without the presence of your caregiver. And that gets translated to how we deal with our adulthood relationship, with our boyfriends, girlfriends, even friendships. Because we have to feel secure as a child with caregivers to feel secure, not anxious with our adulthood relationships. Because whatever experiences we go through as a child, of course, influences our adulthood relationships. That's secure. Second, anxious. That's when your parents or caregivers were there sometimes when you needed them, but they were also absent sometimes. Sometimes they were there, sometimes they were not. So you were very anxious. Oh, am I going to see my parents today? Am I going to get fed? Am I going to receive love from my caregivers? Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. So I feel very anxious, this push and pull. Third, avoidance is your parents or caregivers, they were hardly ever home. They were hardly ever there for you. You hardly ever felt love from your caregivers. That's what you avoid. I don't need you. I don't need my parents. I don't need no one. I don't need no love. Why? Because when I was a child, I never received it anyway. So as an adult, why do I need love? They go through constant breakups. They have severe trust issues. They become overly independent. I don't need nobody else. I just need me, myself, and I. And that's a tremendous trauma. And usually avoidance and anxious attachment style, they come with both. So usually it's avoidant anxious attachments or anxious avoidance, right? Feel free to look it up because there's a lot of information there. And the fourth, which I think is what Mama represents, disorganized or chaotic attachments. Disorganized or chaotic attachment. That's when your caregiver is not only not there for you, but they'll actually try to attack you, abuse you, physically violate you, whatever. That's when the caregivers or the parents in your mind who should represent safety, comfort, and love, they did the opposites. They did nothing but inflict trauma and abuses. So you become very disorganized, chaotic. Because for you, the safety now represents danger. You want to go to your parents and caregivers to seek love, but you got nothing but chaos and damages and hurt. So for Mama, that's what she means. The emotion that I left behind is probably when I was in the womb of that woman that birthed me. She doesn't even call her mother. She calls that woman. Think about that level of disrespect. When we call our parents that man, that woman, that is disrespect. But of course, it's not Mama's fault. She's not disrespecting them out of disrespect. She does not want to call her mom because she felt no love, no safety, no comfort from her mother, but chaos, destruction, trauma, and a near murder. So that's why Mama represents disorganized / chaotic attachment. It's one of the hardest and most traumatic and difficult attachment styles to work through because you view those who you should trust, you view those who should love you as enemies, as danger. Can you imagine the psychological twisted difficulty? So hard.
いいよいいからいいから
Aww. All the sisters are raising her like their moms. Oh. Aww.
サービスするんだから乗客の件も忘れないでよ。
まさか待ち合わせの店が花街のような接待をしていたとは。そんなものを買いに行ったわけじゃない。
See? That's not what Jinshi was there for. Jinshi's not a player. He's committed for Mama.
少しいいか。
はい。
睡蓮と飲んでくれ。変人からのお土産だ。
So, one last comment. I noticed that Master Jinshi never calls Mao Mao by her name, Mao Mao, or even Xiao Mao. Master Jinshi always call her by Apothecary or Hey. He never says her name. Some people might view that as disrespectful because calling someone by their name is the first thing of respect. That means you humanize them. You acknowledge their presence. You acknowledge their humanity. I don't think Jinshi is doing that out of disrespect because we've seen Jinshi represents, he's an outlier. He's very compassionate as a person who's a prince, right? And as many people talked about in Patreon, family, I do agree that even if Jinshi doesn't know he's a secret child of the emperor, he's still a prince, right? Because as a brother of the emperor, he's of course a prince. But the reason why I kept emphasizing and harping on the secret identity, the secret prince as the secret son, is because there are two levels of prince in China, right? In ancient China, even in Korea, actually. So if you're the son of the emperor, you have the authority to inherit in the crown, aka you can ascend to the crownship. That means you can become the next emperor if your father dies. That's the prince, right? In Chinese, we call that a 太子. Definition right here, right? Here's a Wikipedia information. 太子 is the first son of the emperor. That's the crown prince. It's called 太子. And 太子, or crown prince, becomes the emperor. But if you're the brother to the emperor, then you're a 王爷. Also definition right here. 王爷. 王爷means you're like a first upper rank lord. You're still extremely high up. You're second to one. You're only below the emperor, right? Which is amazing, but you will never become the emperor. Why? Because brothers are competitors. Whereas father and son are not necessarily competitors, even though in some dynasties era, sons will try to kill their fathers to become the emperors and so on. But those are more rare cases. So you guys understand what I'm saying? You have to be the son, aka the secret crown prince, to become the emperor, but if aka Taizi. But if you're the brother to the emperor, aka Wang Ye, or in Master Jinshi's case, the gardener to the rear palace, you will never become the emperor. You'll always be second to command. You'll always be beneath the emperor. That's the reason why I emphasize more on the secret prince identity. But yeah, back to my point. Master Jinshi is not calling Mao Mao by her name is because in his mind, he's trying to cognitively, emotionally separate himself from Mao Mao so he doesn't humanize her too much. Because if he humanizes her too much, he knows that his love for her will be uncontrollable. It'll be too much for him. But he knows he has a bigger goal. He knows that Mao Mao and him may not be possible. So I think he is trying to suppress and repress his emotions for Mao Mao in his own effort. And I think that effort is displayed as him not calling by her name. Master shitbag, scumbag, Lakan. I think we see Mao Mao staying super busy and barely talking to Master Jinshi. And we saw Master Jinshi kind of frowning. It's because in her false impression, false perception, in her mind that Master Jinshi just visited one of the brothel, which reminded probably of her about her mom, all the trauma that I talked about earlier. So I think she's still struggling emotionally because she just came back from her vacation. Ooh, vegetarian dinner.
休憩中だからってお留守になりすぎちゃダメよ。
精進料理ですよね。しまった。仕事してればすぐに頭から離れると思ったんだけど。
それと変な草を物置に隠すのもダメよ。
She got caught.
鬼人の住まう場所、薬棚扱いはできません。
See? Power hierarchy.
気にしてないように見えて結構区切りを。
It's a small miracle that I'm even here because her mother almost tried to kill her with a dagger.
尊い生まれだからといって最初から別のものだと思わない。
Wow, deep. Is exactly what I'm saying.
人生どうなるかなんてわからない。
Yes, exactly what I'm saying, guys.
でも分けるのはもったいないわ。
Yes. So desu ka, so desu ne. Exactly, that's what I said. Our birth, our circumstances, our trauma do not define who we are. We are human beings. Be humans. To become humans, we have to embrace and acknowledge and accept that our trauma, our upbringing do not define who we are. We are so much more. We are larger than the sums of our parts. That's exactly what the palace lady is saying.
そうよ。さて、お仕事よ。お使いを頼めるかしら。
After a deep talk,
薬をいただきに参りま
more
した。
tests.
少し待っていろ。
She's in heaven, her happy place.
ここは軍部が近くて怪我人も多いから。この苦味が口の中に広がる。
Her happy place.
薬棚には何が入ってるんだろう。異曲中を漁りたい。何やってるの？
Oh, it's that palace lady.
この時の。
She's pretty nice, actually. She's really nice.
ただ薬を待っていただけですが。
スイレ。
詰所の常備薬をいただきに。
詰所？そういえば以前あったのも軍部の近くだったな。薬草の匂いがしたのは軍部に勤めているから。妙に毛嫌いされてるような。
他にいるものはないか。
特にありません。
Oh, I don't think she dislikes her compared to other palace girls who slapped her.
感情なんてやらなくていいのに。なんでもない。それより薬だろ。
Oh, a court lady shouldn't do this? Is this beneath the status of a court lady to deliver medicine?
粉か人子様の薬だよな。
Potato flour?
考えてみたら人子様は不可解な点が多い。
Thinking about it, Master Jinshi is pretty mysterious. Yeah, because he's a secret crown prince. Secret taizi. But on the surface, he is a Wangye, upper first rank lord, right? Of course he's mysterious.
定期的に回ってくる仕事もそうだけど、まるでみそぎだ。宦官も妻子をやれるのだろうか。
She still thinks he's a eunuch.
らしくないけど、それほどの男がなぜ宦官に？人子様
Wow.
さっきの
Mamo is so close, yet so far.
あの娘の養父は元宦官で医官だそうだ。
元医官に教えを受けたならあの知識は納得がいきますが、元宦官ですか？
そうだ。
そんな優秀な医官が宦官の中にいたでしょうか？
Master Jinshi is also investigating and trying to find out Mamao's upbringing because again, Master Jinshi is extremely sharp. He knows that that scumbag shitbag of the villain, Lakan, brought up the story and is interested in Mamao, special interest for a very particular reason. So I think Master Jinshi is trying to piece all the puzzles together and find out what is the relationship with that mysterious courtesan, that forced pregnancy, how to devalue a woman, and Mamao. How are they all interconnected? Oh, he's back. What the fuck? Sorry, guys. He's ruining my day, my mood.
本当に随分悪どいことをされたようですね。
Yeah. Oh, despicable, dude. From a thief?
を説得したのに横からかっさらわれた身にもなるといい。
Oh.
油揚げを返せと。
いや、いくらでも出しましょう。昔と同じ鉄は踏みたくないのでね。
嫌だと言ったら。
そう言われると何も言えませんな。あなた様に逆らえるものなど。
やはり俺の正体に気づいている。
Oh, so he knows who Master Jinshi is. On the surface, Wang Ye, right? Again, upper first rank lord, which is literally only second to like the emperor. So Lakan is right. There's only a handful of people that's higher than Master Jinshi, even on the surface. But if he were the secret identity, Taizi, the crown prince, Lakan, you need to lick Master Jinshi's toes. You need to wash his feet. You need to wipe his ass. You need to, lick his toes, bro. You need to do whatever you need. Because Jinshi is the crown prince. Lick his toes, man, you toe licker.
Watch your profanity.
Bro.
嫌だ。
I called it. This is exactly what I predicted and analyzed. Yep. Lakan, the shitbag villain, is the father to Mao Mao because of rape and the forced pregnancy. Man, I'm feeling strongly some type of way.
認めたくないが。
Unbelievable, dude. He's a sociopath. Lakan, I could give Lakan already a ASPD, antisocial personality disorder definition right here. I'm not gonna talk too much about forensic psychology because I did that mostly for Death Note, another series. But ASPD, antisocial personality disorder, is colloquially and generally what people refer to as a sociopath or even psychopath. Although there's a small margins of differences. But yeah, it's someone who defies social norms. They don't care about just common social values. They do what they want. They lack remorse, which is a massive, massive trait. Lakan, the mother effer, tracks all the traits, right? Obviously, he raped Mao Mao's mother. He wanted to buy back Mao Mao. He said he's not keen on making the past mistakes. What does that mean? What does he want to do with Mao Mao? Something sounds like super perversive. So Lakan is 100% a sociopath by every metric, every definition. So Lakan has ASPD. Other words, he's a sociopath. What a mother effort, dude.
娘にそのうち会いに行くと伝えていただき
Bro, what the f... Are you serious? Can Master Jinshi exercise the power of his upper first rank lord, aka Wang Ye? Can he exercise the power of Wang Ye to do something with that guy? Like, he's very, very high up. I'm stressed out, guys. Oh, haven't been this stressed in a
薬
while.
よ
はい。
今度お前に会いたいという官がいるのだな。
どんな方ですか？
前から話している変人だ。名はラカンという。
Mama knows who he is, I bet.
どうにか断っておく。
ありがとうございます。では、仕事に戻りますので。
Did you see that? We just saw Mama didn't say anything, but then we saw this super quick glimpse. We just saw like a split second, angry, like almost it just in just crazy, crazy eyes, like just unemotional, like almost murderous eyes of blue eyes. I think those are the eyes of Mama. Mama didn't say a word, but through her eyes, she conveyed her stance. She put her foot down that she will never meet with Lakan. She knows. I'm pretty sure she knows that Lakan is her dad and he's the one who raped her mother. And he is responsible and he's a source of majority of Mama's traumatic upbringing. So she's like, I will not meet with him, the man who forced upon my mother, who ruins her, who ruins me, all that. And that's why I think Master Jinshi saw that quick split of sins of those blue eyes and he stepped back. You see that he literally stumbled backwards and he's like, okay, I will look for a way to turn him down. And Master Jinshi literally stumbled back because he's like, holy shit. I've never seen that side of Mama before.
あんな顔は初めて見た。
Yep. Exactly my point.
もう二度と見たくない。
Yep. Oh, so this is the reason why Mama never wanted to come back to the real palace. Because her mother effer of a scumbag, shitbag, toe licker, Lakan, her forced father, worked in the outer palace. This is why Mama didn't want to come back. Oh, it makes so much sense now. Oh, gosh, dude. I'm making all the dots now, connecting all the dots. I hope she doesn't see Lakan right now. Oh. It's her again.
その手の汚れ、今から取ろうとしてたと認識している。別に咎めないわよ。
Aww.
ここは非公式な畑だし。
You see, I told you, Mama is wrong. She doesn't dislike her. If anything, out of all the core ladies, I think I called them palace ladies by accident, core ladies who slapped her out of envy when she first tried to enter the quarters of Master Jinshi, she's actually the most respectful one, considering the circumstances.
かもしている場所だから、あまり出入りしない方がいいわ。
この場を任されているんですか？
さあね。私も好きなものを植えさせてもらっているだけ。
Aww. She's taking care of it.
と呼ばれていたの。
Sui Rei.
人のことは言えないが。
Her name Sui Rei. I don't really know what it means, but based on the theme of the show, Apothecary Diaries is probably the name of a plant or a flower. Sui Rei.
あまり活力のあふれる性格ではなさそうだ。
She's very flat, affect as well. That also, right? She just said it. Sui Rei is very monotone. She's not very excitable. She always looks the same. She's very indifferent. I think Sui Rei also represents tremendous trauma. I think her flat affect is also another representation of Sui Rei's own depression / trauma as well.
それは死者が蘇ることのできる薬。
Because that's about her mom.
冗談よ。
Wait, what? Of course, that doesn't exist. I think Suirui also has someone she's trying to save. I think she's hinting for Mao Mao to pick them, the Morning Glories. Guys, I know I'm making another wild prediction, but it's very suspicious and odd that Sui Ren happens to show up and get so much camera time in this specific episode 18. And remember, this episode 18 is about the shitbag toe licker mother effer, Lakan, and Mao Mao, and Mao Mao's mother, and Mao Mao's traumatic upbringing. So why is Sui Ren making so much camera time in this episode? What if Sui Ren is also another forced daughter of Lakan? Because it sounds like that's not his first time raping someone, forcing himself upon someone. So maybe he did that multiple times, which is common for a sociopath and a mother effer, toe licker scumbag like him. And because he's very high up, he has a lot of money, a lot of power. So what if Sui Ren and Mao Mao are like half siblings or something? I know, guys, I'm making wild predictions, but anyway, I yapped for almost an hour and 10 minutes in this episode. So much context. My heart is heavy for Mao Mao and his mother, and also Master Jinshi, who is now caught in this 4-dimensional chess match against the shitbag toe licker mother effer Lakan. Anyway, without further ado, that's it for this week. Smash that thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed if you want to support Professional Yapper. Give him, I literally devote all my brain cells anytime I react, and especially for this show, because there's so much context, so many different layers. And as always, if you want to get access, early access to my videos up to 2 weeks early, join our Patreon family, and YouTube members, you can also have a voting power to decide on the next series. And we should be starting our new show, My Dress Up Darling, after winning the poll by almost 60% dominantly after closing out Bocchi the Rock. As always, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, peace.